said we're gonna lock up the next nomination for somebody. I don't think they could. I don't think there's no one who has nobody who is young enough to run as a winning electoral record in a natural election anymore, or is not.
Okay, we're gonna do some trimming today of Tattoo and Sunset.
A bunch of voices flood into the gap and debate and go to swing states.
Yeah, I figured I might as well party with you while I'm doing it. Okay, let's get started here. Need to clean these up first.
Display their abilities and also answer tougher questions, because Kamala Harris didn't have to. What if Biden had said in June 2023, actually I'm done, and there's a primary? I think Harris still would have been the nominee, but she couldn't have gone a year plus without answering, hey, you used to support this position, it's really unpopular. How did you make your mind up? If she's almost played those questions.
So, get ready to do some trimming here.
I'm pretty convinced.
I got 4 racks of this shit to trim. So, I gotta get started on it. Because I'm getting pretty close to chopping the citrus pie down there. So, would you stop? You don't need to be in the middle of everything. Just be quiet. My stoner cat. Tasmanian, yeah. Yeah, you gotta be in the middle of everything, don't you? Alright. There's nobody here anyway, so who gives a shit?
Yes, they will definitely disagree about that. Yes, you're right. But will they allow a single populist in the group? And my guess is no, because they still don't get them. They don't know which corporate robot does our talking points better. I think I like them on the Newsom model. I like the Buttigieg model. No, you're not supposed to go with a corporate robot. You're supposed to go with a real human being. The only hope there, and for now, we're going to hear right here on the answers, we're going to try to create more hope for more potential candidates.
Getting the trimmers all ready here.
Corporate goons and fake robots. But for now, one interesting possibility that nobody's talking about is Tim Walz. Tim Walz was not allowed out of a basement in this election. But anytime that he escaped the basement, he was fantastic. So let's see what happens. If I get into Deacon Dave, and we'll have you come back on.
Wow.
For now, but,
Well, hello. Hey, everybody, what's up? So we're trimming up this Tattoo and Sunset today. There's some of this backlighting here a little bit. We're trimming up this Tattoo and Sunset here. And it's it has some really big top branches on it, so you can see that it's quite the big one there. I want to kill some of this light in the back here. That's a little better, probably. So yeah, we're gonna start trimming this up, and if you want to talk about weed, or got any questions or comments, or tell me what you're growing, or whatever. So, yep, got 4 racks of this to trim up, so I got to get started somewhere. Let's just cut it right here in the middle. And let's work on this sucker right here. Wow. So I did a good pre-trim on this. I'm in Missouri. I did a good pre-trim on this, so there's not a lot of fan leaves left on it, just sugar leaves, so I can use all the trim for stuff. So gonna need my glasses for this. I hate to admit it, but makes it a little easier here. So all right, so yeah, this is a kind of a unique strain for me. I don't usually grow sativa dominants. I don't like sativas that much. But I grew a bunch of this, and it's like 70% sativa, 30% indica. So it's tolerable. And I still got more growing down there. But that'll be the end of it. I've got one more plant scrogged out in tent number 1, and then we're going to be done with this strain for a while. I don't think I'm going to need any other more than this. What do you do with all the trim? Make edibles, extracts, pre-rolls, stuff like that. Butter, oil, cookies, brownies, chocolate, gummies, whatever. So yeah, it's still got a lot of THC in these sugar leaves and these bottom buds that you don't want to keep, but you can use. I also make a tumble keef hash out of it too. Here's some of the hash I made from trim. That's made from the trim I had. I just ran it through a tumbler, so. So yeah, we're back into trim time again. But it's definitely ready. These sugar leaves are just peeling right off. They're not having any problems coming out of there, so. Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. Oh, so yeah, I mean, if you're a grower, you've all done this before, so it's nothing new. It's when people say, hey, how come you charge so much? Which I don't. My prices are very reasonable. But when they're saying, man, can you cut me a break? I'm like, dude, come over and trim a couple pounds of this and I'll give you a discount, This is the hardest work of the whole thing is the damn trimming. Yeah, this one formed a double bud. Look at this. It did a split bud on the top. It's kind of cool. I don't know why. It did it on a couple of the tops on this particular strain. Some kind of a splitting gene in there somewhere. So, let me get your opinion. Should I keep this as a whole bud or should I break it down? I mean, somebody gets this in an ounce bag, they're going to be like, oh, shit. Oh, God. I think I'm just going to shove it in the bag for now. Maybe I'll sell it like that. Who knows? God, it won't even go down in the bag. Trim jail. Well, yeah, I used to call it that, and then I got such a bad attitude about it, I just started calling it Trim Resort because, after all, when I'm done trimming all this, I have access to smoke it all, so, I shouldn't be too ungrateful for it, Never be bitching about a big harvest because the next one may not be so good if you anger the gods. But yeah, so yeah, I got a shitload of this Tattoo and Sunset, and again, I can smoke 1 or 2 hits of it and I'm done because I'm cleaning the fucking house and I'm organizing shit and doing all kinds of hyper shit, and I'm like, yeah, that's not what I get high for. So I can't do much of it. Although I told this story yesterday, but yeah, I had a real bad couch lock the other day. I couldn't keep my eyes open even. It was so bad I couldn't move. And I did a couple hits of the Tattoo and Sunset, and it did kind of help. It got me back to being conscious again, CSL, good to see you again. So yeah, just trimming away here, Oh God. But hey, it's good to have weed to trim. It's always good to have some weed in the rack downstairs waiting to be trimmed. It's always a good feeling to know you got something in the pipeline. But yeah. Yeah, Harley was telling me he had a hell of a crop outdoors, like pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds and fucking pounds. And, oh my God. So yeah, I got a citrus pie auto down there. I think it's maybe a couple of weeks away from finishing, although it's hard to tell with autos because they just turn all of a sudden and all the hairs go red overnight sometimes, and you start seeing the amber show up. So I'm watching it carefully, but yeah, it's got some big fat nugs on it, man. Just nice big round ones. Um, so I'll be harvesting that in the next couple of weeks. And then I got that Tattoo of the Sunset intent number 1. That should come out around December 15th or so. Something like that. Should come out of there. So I'll be trimming some more of this then, you know. But it was some nice looking bud, you know. I mean, certainly decent color, and you know, it's 26% THC, 70% sativa, 30% indica, and has about if you want to flower it right, you're going to go about 9 weeks on this strain. I think I went 9 weeks in a day on the last one I did. I had 3 or 4 plants in the same tent, and I wanted to harvest them all when they were at their natural peak, so I waited till they all caught up, you know. But yeah, there's a nice big old, look at that nice big old nug there, you know. Yeah, those are good bag buds, but they're no better than the bottom ones. THC is THC, it's all the same. Doesn't matter where you get it from. Oh, outdoor grows can get huge. Yeah, he had like 23 or 27 plants, something like that. He said he filled his garage up like twice with racks and racks and racks and racks of weed, lines of weed, just filling his garage up. So yeah, that's wild shit, man. That's a lot of fucking weed. I honestly can say I don't need that much. It'd be kind of a lot more work than I really need to do to keep myself medicated here, you know. I can get by on quarter pound to a half pound a month myself, so you know I don't need much more than that, you know, around. I mean, I got more than that around, but I don't need to have tons more. You know, you just gotta store it and burp it, and after a while, I started vacuum sealing, you know, quarter pounds and half pounds, and putting them in the safe because you know that'll stay fresh for 20 years. You know, you can open that up 20 years from now, and it'll still be just like the day I put it in there. I did an experiment. I vacuum sealed some shit for 2 years, and I opened it up and pulled it apart because it gets kind of crushed together, and it was still moist and fresh and fragrant and everything. It still had everything going for it. It's still sticky. I mean, it was just like it was been frozen in time. So yeah, if you vacuum seal this stuff, it'll last you a lifetime. I mean, you won't never have to worry about it going bad or nothing. You know, make sure it's cured well and dried and everything, so you don't get mold or nothing. But sure, you can keep it around for years. Be kind of weird to go back like 10 years from now and go, oh, I got this purple banana cookie in the safe. You know, let's see how it tastes. You know, yeah. You could, though. It's the best way to store it long term. Get in the bag. So, yeah, I know this ain't exactly exciting TV, but hey, you know, if I got to trim, I might as well party with some people while I do it. Da-da-da. Speaking of which, I think it's time. Oh yeah, there might be a hit left in there. Let's fire it up a bit. Yeah, exactly. was good. I think that was Purple Dream. No, it was Purple Canyon. What was left of the Purple Canyon, or was that the banana? I can't remember now. It's kind of hard to get the taste difference on them. Yeah. So, what's everybody smoking on out there? I have so many different varieties, I couldn't tell you them all, but what you smoking on? I hope you're smoking. I hope you ain't out. Nothing worse than that, man. Facing this fucking world's not stoned sucks. Oh, give it a haircut. I always thought if you were going to hire people to do this for you, you could hire hairstylists because they're so used to doing the scissor thing that once they get the eye for, you know, what to trim and what not to trim, I think that would be a good cross trade for them because they've got pretty strong hands from doing these haircuts all the time, and you know, seems like a compatible trade or skill. Did you harvest your Purple Dream? I don't have a Purple Dream growing. I've had Purple Dream in a jar for a while, but no, I don't have Purple Dream growing right now. I did just start a Purple Bubba Kush and a Gorilla Cookies auto from Fast Buzz 420. And they got taproots on them, so they're in dirt right now, and I'm expecting to see something tomorrow or the next day on those. There's the next one we got to work on there. It's a big old one, you know. I gotta break that other one down. I can't leave it that big. That's just too big a bud, you know. Nobody wants a bud that big. Oh well, it would have been cool though. Yeah, you gotta break this down a little bit. You can't leave it like that. Oh, big old donkey dick. So, let's see here. Yeah, I'm down to just one tent open right now. The other two are dormant right now. Waiting for some plants to put in tent number 2 to get, you know, big enough veg and everything. And then tent number 3, I broke the zipper on it. So if I do use it again, I'm going to put autos in there because I don't have to worry about light leaks and all that shit. So I can still use the tent. It just, as a grow area, I just won't be able to seal it up. So can't grow photos in there anymore. But I've got autos growing over in the veg area, so I don't really need at this point. But I've got a couple of autos started that if they all take and they're all females, I got some regular autos started, which is really weird. If they all take, God, I'm just gonna leave that as a fucking bud. I mean, I just can't. I'm not gonna take that down anymore. Somebody's gonna get a really big old fucking bud there. I need to pack another bowl. That one was kind of lame. Okay, so I gotta decide what to smoke next. Man, I tell you what, this banana fruitcake was really good. I mean, this was some nice pot. This banana fruitcake, it was really, really good, tasty, good buds. Just the whole package, you know. So I think I'm gonna do a bowl of that. and see if we can't share a bowl with y'all here. I wish I could pass it through the internet to you and let you have a little taste of it. Oh, but it's tasty. Really fucking tasty. You know, I think I'm going to top it with some hash while I'm at it. I mean, you know, why not, if you can. So, get some of the... God, that's fruity and floral. So, you know, put a little of this hash on top. The bowl burns really good, man. It, you know, it just smolders the whole time. You don't have to relight it or nothing. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I didn't spill any. That's cool. So, we got a nice top bowl there. So, let me get something to drink here first. Here's to your health. Cheers. Oh, shit. Head rush. Oh, serious head rush. Yeah. So, that was to your health, everybody. Cheers to your health. Mine sucked this year, and this whole year sucked, actually. I mean, just a crap fucking year from, well, anyway. Just a shit fucking year, man. And, still trying to get through some of it, but next year will be better. I hope. Fuck. Don't think it can be much worse. Oh, God. But, you know, we can be optimistic, I guess. Maybe the fucking economy will get better again. So sick of fucking everything being fucked up in the economy. But we don't talk politics here, so I still say the economy could be better for everybody, though. I don't think anybody's doing great out there. Oh, do 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 do. Oh, so, yeah, I'm looking forward to growing some new strains. I got some reg seeds from Fazoli and SOS and a few of these guys a long time ago. They're photos, but they're regs. They're not females. And when I was in full production trying to grow as much as I could, I really didn't have the time to grow, you know, a plant out and find out after a month it was a male, you know, and have to kill it and start over again on a plant. So I kind of put them away for a different time. And when I restarted my grow after my surgery and everything, because it kind of got shut down for the most part, I still harvested some right after surgery, believe it or not. I still had shit in the pipeline. But I realized I had the time now, because I had plenty of weed in reserve, that I could grow some regular autos and some regular photos, and you know, I know how to sex plants. That ain't no big deal. And you know, if you grow 4 or 5 of them, because they gave me a bunch of seeds, you're gonna get some females. You know, clone them all when they tell their sex, kill the male clones. You know. So I'm doing some Cherry West from Fazoli and some Purple Unicorn, and from SOS I got some Susie Q growing. I only got one of those, so I hope it's female. And just those are the regular ones. And I got some photo film purple Bubba Kush I just popped. And I got 2 of those growing, seedlings already. And then I got grape cheese auto growing, but it's regular, so it could be male. I got planet skunk ape auto growing, which is also a regular auto, so it could be a male. You know, we just got to deal with that possibility. I think it's starting to show a little hair, but you know, it could be false hair you get sometimes with males, so you don't never know. What else? Grape cheese, planet skunk ape, and yeah. So you know, I'm you know growing them all this stuff out, and it's actually more plants that I need, but I gotta realize that there'll be some males in there, so I won't need the flower space for those. So I can just grow all this stuff out, and you know, when I find the females, take a couple clones for the future, and then see how they taste. Oh, this is just the first 3 branches, but I did pick the biggest ones. I'll be honest. The rest of them are not like this. These were I had 3 big plants in the tent, and these are basically the top branches from each one of those plants. I think, pretty sure. So I figured I'd trim these big ones up first because it'd be more fun, and then I don't have enough motivation to keep going on the medium branch size. Yeah, this was a good producer though. A lot of bud, pretty decent bud, fairly dense, you know, good color. So yeah, not bad at all. Decent little plant. And the one I got scrogged in tent number 1, well, the story behind that one is I had it growing in the veg area. I took like 14 cuts off of this plant. There's a story behind that too. But when I got the last one ready to go in tent number 1, when the tent was ready, the thing was already almost up to the light. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to scrog this fucker and bend it in half, which is what I did. And so that was about a month ago, a little bit over a month ago in flower. And now I've got just a shitload of top branches basically all over the tent. And some of them are actually getting close to the light, not terribly close. And I think they're done stretching now. I could be wrong, but I think I recall that after about 30, 35 days, this plant was done stretching. So they came in really good that way. They didn't touch the light. They didn't get close to the light. I didn't have to do a bunch of bends or nothing like I've had to do before. So, you know, I played around with scrogging before, but I never really did it right. This is the first time I really had to do it right. And I got to say, it worked out good with this particular plant because it's a tall growing plant. And, you know, there's only so much fucking room in these tents, you know. I mean, you got the light in there. That takes another foot off the ceiling. That, you know. So I scrogged it, and I probably got about 30 top branches now sticking out of that sucker. It's all one plant, and they all got equal sized big top buds, you know. So, and then I'll be done with growing this strain, and I'm not really excited because, again, I can't smoke this shit. So I've got, you know, I'm going to have pounds of it laying around, and it's not going to be something I'm going to go, oh, I just can't wait to get in my chair and fire up some Tattoo at Sunset. Yeah. I only use it occasionally for very specific occasions, like I'm too much couch lock and I can't get up from the chair, or I got a bunch of shit I need to get up and do, and I'm not motivated to do it. Like I got to run some errands, or I got to build a shelf unit or something, you know. I do a hit or two of this shit and I'm out rebuilding fucking shit, you know. So This is a highly motivational weed. Let's put it that way. If you try to get the motivation to go to work or, you know, bang your wife after 30 years and try to get the motivation to want to do that again or whatever, this might be the kind of plant that'll help you out there, you know. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it might be good for sex because it would definitely keep you from getting tired and, you know. I never thought about that. Yeah, it might be good for that. I just don't smoke a lot of sativas. I've actually gotten to the point where I've almost had panic attacks from smoking this shit. You know, my hands will start shaking and you get that pit in the middle of your stomach and, you know, you feel like you're jumping up and you're clenching your fist and, you know, you're talking 100 miles a minute and, you know, and you can't sit still, you can't fucking concentrate on a fucking movie. You're just wired. Well, that's all trimmed up there. Again, it's got the split on the top. And that's so weird about this strain that it split on the top like that, you know. I thought it was foxtailing at first, but it turned out it wasn't. It was just the way the plant finishes. You just never know with marijuana. There's so many different fucking genetic variables in this shit that you never know what it's going to come out looking like half the time. But when I break these down in individual buds, they've got some good bag appeal. There's certainly they're no slouch. I got to keep this trim separate because I don't want to make my edibles and stuff out of this and forget it's the sativa dominant and everybody call me up and say, man, I'm not sleeping at all now. What's wrong? You know, a lot of people use my edibles and that to help them sleep at night. And, you know, if I make a bunch of sativa brownies or gummies or chocolate, you know, I'd have to sell those to particular medical patients who, I don't know, maybe suffering from depression. You know, that might be a good one for them. Patients who are having pain, because sativas are good for pain. You know, they got good pain tolerance capabilities in them. So, you know, but if you're wired like a motherfucker, it's kind of like counterproductive. So I can get just as much pain relief out of a good indica or indica dominant hybrid as I can from a sativa, without everybody getting all fucking wired and shit. So, you know, I usually do with my extracts. I like to blend 3 or 4 different kinds of trim and bud from different types of plants, figuring I'll get the best capability or the best qualities of each one of those plants in there, you know. And since most of my strains are indica dominant hybrids, or maybe 50-50 hybrids occasionally. Some of them are. And I have a couple that are, I have one that's pure indica. I got Northern Lights in the bucket over there. Oh man, look at that bud. It's just like Mickey Mouse. We'll call that Mickey Mouse. So you got the 2 ears and a little face there, the 2 little eyes. That's Mickey Mouse. Okay, yeah, I'm fucking weird. This is usually earlier than I usually do my lives, so I'm not seeing a lot of my normal friends that pop in here, but I figured I was going to do the trimming anyway. So some people say it's relaxing to watch somebody trim. I guess because it's not them. Oh my God, where do I even break this bud at? You know, that one's going to stay whole. I don't care. Some of these buds are just too big to try to break apart. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I guess I'll leave it like that. Damn. This bag is getting filled up pretty fast with these big ass chunky buds. I mean, look at this bud, you know. Let me ask you a question. There's a little survey out there. if you got an ounce bag and it had this bud in there, would you be upset that I didn't break it down more, or would you be okay with that? I mean, because people always say, man, I like big bud. Yeah, I really big fucking bud, man. And I explained to them that the small bud is just as potent as the big bud. It's just your fucking sense of fucking aesthetics. And people have sold that box of goods that, big bud's stronger, top bud's stronger. It's bullshit. Um, but catering to that fucking crowd, would you be upset if you got an ounce bag and I left this big ass bud in there as one fucking unit? I mean, from a marketing standpoint, would that bother you at all that you had this? I heard a story about some guy that offered like a huge amount of money if someone could produce a quarter-pound bud, one single top. And I think one of his friends did it or something, and he gave him like, I think it was like 5,000 or 10,000. He offered him a huge amount of money if they could do it. So, So if you got this in your bag, you'd be okay with it. I wouldn't have minded it. Probably wouldn't have made it across the border like that, but yeah, I wouldn't have minded it. It smells good too. It really fucking does. Okay, it's definitely time for another hit, as I finished that branch already. So, cheers. So I got 5 people in here and I got 2 names on the screen. So if you want to just like type a comma or a period or hi, or you want to just lurk, it could be Kush out there lurking. I mean, he's been fucking pulling his shit again, but he started his shit last night. I'm pretty sure it was him. He had a slightly modified handle. And I just threw his fucking dumb ass out of here. About her little pussy, but anyway. So, yeah, I don't deal with trolls too well. I just like dismiss them. They can go. I don't care. So, what are you all smoking on out there? If you're smoking, you got to be smoking something. Dusty, good to see you again, man. We had a good discussion last night on that root ball size and all that. That was pretty damn good. I'm glad that we got that on the video, because that's the kind of thing I like to do on these fucking lives, is have a back and forth on different things about growing, and discussing that if you water near the base of the plant, the root ball doesn't have to get huge. I pull these 6 foot tall plants out of the dirt, and the root ball's like that big. Now there's some tiny tributaries, obviously, but I pull out the main root ball, and it's no bigger than a softball usually, and doesn't seem to affect the plants one bit. As long as they're getting what they want, they don't have to do a lot of work building root. They can put that energy back in the plant. So that was a good discussion, because a lot of people are under the misconception. I mean, the old stuff, big roots, big fruit, yeah, but that's more important outdoors, where you're dealing with the plant having to go way out to get enough nutrients and water. Whereas if you're doing that controlled indoors, they're getting the exact amount of everything they need without having to go anywhere far. They're going to put that energy back into more flower, because that's this plant's most basic instinct, is to produce flower. Whether it be male pollen sac flower or whether it be a female flower, that is their number one fucking goal in life. And so if you take off the work of having to make a huge root structure, we talked about hydroponics. Hydroponics, usually the root balls are virtually non-existent. I mean, because the water is washing over it constantly, getting it fresh nutrients all the fucking time. And it doesn't have to grow a whole shitload of roots to get enough nutrients into the plant. So, yeah, that was a good discussion. I appreciated that, Dusty. I don't know if you're still in here or not, but I don't know if anybody's still in here or not. Sometimes I think that says there's people in here and I'm talking to myself anyway, but nobody says anything. They just sit there, you know. Hey, whatever trips your trigger. But yeah. I don't mind trimming. There's been times when I've had 10, 12 racks of weed down there that were all ready to be trimmed at the same time, and that is, that's a little discouraging. I mean, it's kind of like, yay, lots of weed, but then it's kind of like, yay, lots of trimming, yay. So, you know, there's always a little bit of good and bad and all this stuff. So, I guess nobody's even in here. That's fine. I don't care. I gotta trim this shit anyway. Doesn't matter. This could be a long live if I try to get this first rack done today by itself. I won't be able to do all 4 racks I got down there, but you know, I might be able to get this first rack done if I stay on it and don't take a million fucking breaks. But at least you can just kind of peel these sugar leaves off. They're dry enough that I don't have to cut everything. I mean, some of the stuff has to be cut, but a lot of it I can just pop it off with the tip of the trimmers, you know, and you get your nice little nug there. Again, you know, I may be talking to nobody, but I'd be surprised to tell you this, that the one I did yesterday has had 200 and some odd views, and I never had 200 people in there during the whole fucking video. So these are people that watched it afterwards. So you know, maybe they'll get something out of something. I don't know. I don't care really. It's not like I'm being monetized or anything. Yeah, I could have put some of these buds into like a high time centerfold, you know. They're big enough and beefy enough, you know. This particular strain had some of the biggest contiguous tops, colas at the top, that I've seen on any strain I've grown. And it might be because of the sativa, you know, because I've been growing so much indica. They're more of a squat, bushy plant. And sativas are more of a spear-shaped, taller plant. But this sumbitch just grew these big old fucking spears, you know. And they're like just a series of spiral buds just wrapped around each other. And they came out, well, fucking huge, actually. So nobody's talking, I guess. Huh? All right. Be that fucking way. Seriously. Well, at least I'm not getting trolled, right? At least actively, so we'll look at the bright side. I clean these fucking trimmers up. I went to trim a plant the other day, and I had like 8 pairs of trimmers downstairs, and they were all dirty. They were all sticking together. I'm like, son of a bitch. Gotta start cleaning these damn things a little bit. Of course, after a while, I just throw them away and get new ones. And, you know, it's too old, they get too dull. Okay, well, let's just keep going here. Let's go ahead and get rid of some of this tail here. These stems never did dry enough to where they were snappy, but the bud was definitely ready to be trimmed. I mean, So, yeah. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. I put some damn music on, but then this whole thing would get slammed for copyright, so you can't even listen to any fucking music, but there should be like fair use for that or something where if you're using it in the background of, you know, a work video, you get to use it for free. What the fuck? These millionaire fucking rock stars are got enough money, you know, really. So did you all hear Oprah Winfrey the other day? No, I'm sorry. It was Whoopi. No, it was Oprah. No, who was it? Yeah, it was Oprah Winfrey. She was on The View, and she was trying to tell us all that she's just a regular working girl, that she's got to be on The View and work like everybody else. So I watched a show this morning that said that this working girl makes $666,000 a month. Just from The View, not counting, you know, royalties from her movies and all the other shit. And so that's a working girl, you know. I don't know too many working girls out there that are pulling in over $500,000 a month. They're spouting their mouth off for an hour a day and pissing people off as much as she can get away with. Yeah, it's pretty good work if you can get it, but yeah, I hate when rich people try to poor mouth themselves, you know, and they're like, oh man, you know, it's been tough for everybody. Really? Really? So you didn't get your second house or your third yacht this year? Well, you know, let me get a crying towel out for you, motherfucker, because, you know, I know a lot of people that are like, you know, struggling to figure out how to get enough food to feed themselves, you know, so. They really don't want to hear about your fucking stock going down, you know, 5% and costing you $1 million when you're worth, you know, $500 million, so. So bite me. Just stop playing poor mouth when, you know, whenever you start acting like, you know, poor you. Oh, wow. You know. The top 1% of this country has more wealth than the bottom 50% combined. So, %1 in this country would be about, let's see, 350 million, about 35,000. So about 35,000 people have more wealth combined than the bottom half of the nation. And I read somewhere that there's like 7 families or 5 families somewhere that are worth more combined than like a third of the population or something, just by themselves. The Walton family's one of them, you know, the Walmart clique. There's 3 Walmart family members that combined would be worth, I think they said 380 billion or 400 billion between the 3 of them. So yeah, they're doing okay. Good work if you can get it, man. Inheriting money from Sam Walton, that's good work if you can get that kind of work, you know. And I can't even win the fucking lottery, you know. Yeah. Rich just keep getting richer. There ain't nothing ever going to change about that, man. They got richer during the Depression because they ended up repossessing everybody's fucking houses laying off all the employees so they didn't have to pay any fucking payroll, and they just waited till after the Depression and resold them people their same fucking houses for 3 or 4 times what they repoed them for. So, yeah, if you got liquidity in a downtime, you can get some bargains that will pay off big time. Just think if you'd have got Bitcoin when it was like, $10. Just threw them on your hard drive and just forgot about them. Say you got, 100 of them. Let's say you bought $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. Let's say it was 100 of them. Today, that $1,000 gift to yourself would be worth $7 million. So, we missed that boat, but it goes to show you that people are starting to look outside the old traditional Dow Jones and stock market for investment opportunities. GoFundMe pages and group financing and all that kind of shit is something the banks hate because they can't control it and they can't legislate against it, and they hate Bitcoin because I read an article the other day that Gen Zers are using Bitcoin as their savings account. And that's a damn good savings account because it seems to just keep going up and up and up for the most part if you watch it over time. And it's not backed by any of these fucking banks and shit. So when they all fail and take all the money to Brazil, and you lose all your fucking money, your Bitcoin's still going to be there. It's not dependent on the United States finance or government or the Treasury Department. In fact, it's completely antithetical to them. So yeah, and I'm sure a lot of rich people use it to hide money. Because you buy Bitcoin, it's not traceable by the IRS or anything. They're anonymous. They're tagged anonymously, so they can't tax them. They can't trace the wealth in them. You don't have to move your shit offshore, like the Bahamas or fucking Caribbean or Switzerland or some fucking place. And if you need liquidity, you can instantly convert it back into cash online, right back into your bank account, and go to the ATM and draw that cash out. So you can't do that so well with a stock. I mean, you call your stockbroker and say, I want you to sell that AT&T, and then like 3 seconds later, like, well, where's my money? He'd go, dude, seriously, man. So, yeah, a lot of people are realizing that cryptocurrency may be a decent investment. There's a finite amount of it, so they can't just like print as much as they want like the government. There's an algorithm involved, and once it reaches its limit, it won't generate any more. So you won't be able to mine anymore, and we'll be stuck with what's in the market. That doesn't mean you won't be able to get Bitcoin, because every second some people are selling Bitcoins and some people are trying to buy them. So there's a constant flow between the supply and the demand. But if the supply gets too strong and people stop selling, then you're still dependent on, is there any left in the algorithm? And this is as much as I understand about it anyway. But they only have to sustain the Bitcoin market until people start selling it. And even if it's doing great, people always have emergencies, They need cash, and they're like, okay, I can get rid of these Bitcoins fast. So, it doesn't need to be, that it's going through the floor for people to sell it. It could be personal reasons why they're selling it, or, they want to go on a vacation, or they want to buy a new car cash, and so there'll always be some people selling it even when it's on the upswing, I mean, just because they're not rich enough to not need that reserve, even though it's still going up in value. It's so weird when you put like $100 into it, and you get just like 0.0000000000001 Bitcoin or something, you know, you're like, oh, you got to be kidding me, you know. But it goes to show you what the dollar is worth compared to Bitcoin, you know. Man, these tops are just so beautiful. I can't really hardly cut them apart. And they're so dense at the top here. I mean, look at that. They're just so densely packed that you know, you just don't want to try to break them all apart because they'll just, yeah. I think that one's going to go in just like it is. Somebody's going to get some big ass fucking buds of this plant. Ah. Oh man. Okay, that's the first 3 branches out of that rack. That was the first, the 3 big main top branches, and it's taken me what, an hour. It's taken me an hour to trim those 3 branches. Holy shit. Well, snick. What are you gonna do? Cheers. Oh yeah, that's good. Well, nobody's talking, and I've done an hour, and I try to keep my lives to an hour, so it says there's 5 people watching, 4 people, I don't know. Anyway, it's been fun trimming with you, but I'm going to keep working on this, but you don't need to sit and watch this any more than an hour is enough for anybody. So everybody, keep taking your medicine, and stay lifted. Cheers.